Imagine this. A single dad is walking home with his little daughter when he suddenly sees a building exploding into flames. Without thinking twice, he sprints straight into the raging inferno while firefighters are still putting on their gear. Thick black smoke blinds him. The heat is unbearable. But he hears a woman screaming for her life on the 4th floor. With zero protection, he charges through collapsing ceilings and burning stairs, lifts a massive wooden beam off her crushed leg with his bare hands, and carries her out just seconds before the entire floor crashes down. Everyone calls him a hero. But the real shock comes 2 days later. When the smoke clears and he finally sees the woman's face, he realizes she is not a stranger at all. She is someone from his past. Someone he never thought he would see again. What happens next will leave you speechless. This is the most emotional, jaw-dropping true story you will hear today. If you're hooked already, hit that like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss these mind-blowing stories. And comment below, where are you watching from right now? Let's go. The full story starts in 3, 2, 1. The late afternoon sun dipped low over the old industrial district of Riverton, casting long shadows across the cracked sidewalks. Alex Rivera, 34, gripped his 6-year-old daughter Lily's hand a little tighter as they walked home from the corner store. His shoulders ached from the double shift at the warehouse the night before, but he smiled down at her anyway. Lily chattered about her day at school, her ponytail bouncing with every step. Life hadn't been easy since his wife, Maria, passed away 3 years ago in a car accident. Alex had become everything for Lily: father, mother, protector. He worked 2 jobs, warehouse loader by night and part-time delivery driver by day, just to keep the tiny 2-bedroom apartment and make sure Lily had clothes that fit and hot meals on the table. Money was tight, but love wasn't. As they turned onto Maple Street, the smell of smoke hit them first. Thick, acrid, and growing stronger. Sirens wailed in the distance. People were running, pointing toward the old 5-story apartment building 2 blocks ahead. Flames licked out of the 3rd-floor windows, black smoke pouring into the sky like an angry beast. "Stay here with Mrs. Patel," Alex said quickly, guiding Lily to their elderly neighbor who had stepped out of her building. "Don't move, baby. Daddy will be right back." "But Daddy," Lily's eyes widened with fear. "I promise." He kissed her forehead and sprinted toward the chaos. Firefighters were just arriving, unrolling hoses, but the building was old, the flames spreading fast. Neighbors screamed that a woman was still trapped inside. Someone had seen her on the 4th floor moments earlier. Alex didn't think. He yanked his jacket over his mouth and nose and charged through the open front door before anyone could stop him. The heat slammed into him like a wall. Smoke stung his eyes, making them water instantly. The staircase groaned under his boots as he took the steps 2 at a time. "Anyone up there?" he shouted, coughing. "Call out." A faint cry answered from above, weak, terrified. "Help, please." He pushed higher, the air growing hotter, visibility dropping to almost nothing. On the 4th floor, the hallway was a nightmare of flames and falling debris. Doors hung open, some rooms already fully engulfed. He kicked through a half-collapsed doorway where the cries seemed loudest. There she was. A woman lay on the floor near the window, half-pinned under a fallen ceiling beam. Her dark hair was matted with soot and sweat, her face streaked with ash and a thin line of blood from a cut on her forehead. She wore what looked like expensive office clothes, now torn and filthy. She was conscious but struggling, her breathing shallow. "I've got you," Alex said, dropping to his knees beside her. "We're getting out." She looked at him with wide, terrified eyes. "My leg. I can't move." The beam had her right leg trapped. Alex gripped it with both hands, muscles straining. The wood was hot, burning his palms, but he ignored the pain. With a guttural roar, he lifted. The woman screamed as she pulled her leg free. Alex dropped the beam and scooped her into his arms like she weighed nothing. "Hold on to me," he ordered. The descent was hell. Flames roared louder now. A section of the ceiling collapsed behind them as they reached the third-floor landing. Alex shielded her body with his own, feeling embers sting his back. His lungs burned. Every breath was fire. But Lily's face flashed in his mind, his reason to survive. They burst out the front door just as firefighters rushed in. Paramedics swarmed them immediately. Alex set the woman down gently on a stretcher, his arms trembling from exhaustion. She reached for his hand briefly, squeezing it with surprising strength. "Thank you," she whispered hoarsely before they loaded her into the ambulance. "I don't even know your name." "Alex," he said simply. "Just Alex." The doors closed, and she was gone. Sirens faded into the evening. Alex stood there, covered in soot, hands blistered, shirt singed. A reporter shoved a microphone at him, but he waved her off and walked back to Lily, who ran into his arms sobbing. That night, after treating his burns at the hospital and putting Lily to bed, Alex sat on the edge of his worn couch, staring at the TV. The local news played footage of the fire. "Heroic bystander rescues trapped woman from blazing apartment building," the anchor said. They didn't have his name yet, and the woman's identity was still unknown. Alex switched it off. He didn't feel like a hero. He just did what any father who knew what loss felt like would do. 2 days passed. Alex's hands were bandaged, but he couldn't afford to miss work. He dropped Lily at school and headed to his delivery job. The old van rattled as he made his rounds. His mind kept drifting back to the woman's eyes. There had been something familiar about them, but he couldn't place it through the smoke and panic. His phone buzzed. A voicemail from an unknown number. He pulled over and listened. "Mr. Rivera? This is Elena Vargas from Riverton Memorial Hospital. The woman you rescued would like to see you. Room 412. She asked specifically for the man who carried her out." Alex hesitated. He had deliveries left, but curiosity, and something deeper, won. He turned the van around. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and flowers. He found room 412 and knocked softly. A nurse let him in. The woman sat up in bed, her leg in a cast and elevated, bruises visible on her arms. Her hair was clean now, falling in soft waves around her shoulders. Without the soot, her face was striking, high cheekbones, sharp green eyes that seemed to see right through him. She smiled weakly. "Alex." He nodded, stepping closer. "How are you feeling?" "Alive, thanks to you." She gestured to a chair. "Please sit." They talked for a few minutes. Her name was Sophia Lang. She had been visiting a friend in the building when the fire started from faulty wiring. She apologized for the trouble, thanked him again for risking everything. Alex shrugged it off. Anyone would have done the same. "No," she said quietly. "Not everyone. Not like that." As they spoke, Alex felt that strange familiarity again. The way she tilted her head when she listened. The slight accent in her voice. It nagged at him. Then she asked about his life. He told her briefly, single dad, warehouse work, delivery gigs, raising Lily alone since Maria died. Sophia's expression changed. Her eyes softened, then widened. "Alex Rivera, from Lincoln High." He froze. "Yeah. Class of '09. How did you?" She laughed softly, but it turned into a cough. When she recovered, her voice was trembling. "I'm Sophia. Sophia Martinez. We were in English class together senior year. You used to sit 2 rows behind me. You helped me with that Shakespeare project when I was struggling." The room seemed to tilt. Memories flooded back. "Sophia Martinez, the quiet, smart girl who always had her nose in a book. The one who transferred in midway through senior year after her family moved from out of state. She had been kind, shy, and incredibly bright. They had shared a few laughs, a couple of study sessions. He had even had a small crush on her, but life moved on. He met Maria shortly after graduation, and Sophia's family moved again for her father's job. They lost touch completely. "You," Alex whispered. "It's really you?" She nodded, tears glistening. "I changed my last name after I got married, briefly. It didn't last. I moved back to Riverton 2 years ago for work. I had no idea it was you in that fire. Not until they showed me the news footage and I saw your face clearly." The shocking twist settled between them like a living thing. Alex sat back, stunned. The unknown woman he had risked his life for, the stranger whose cries pulled him into the inferno, was someone from his past. Someone he had once known, however briefly. The girl who had been kind to the awkward kid from the wrong side of town. Sophia reached for his bandaged hand gently. "You saved me, Alex. Again. Back then, you saved me from failing that class. Now, this." He let out a shaky breath. "I didn't even recognize you at first. The smoke, the panic. I know." She smiled through her tears. "But I recognized something in you the moment you lifted that beam. That same quiet strength you had in high school." They talked for over an hour. Sophia had become a successful social worker, helping families in crisis, ironic, given how she had nearly lost her own life. She asked about Lily, and Alex pulled out his phone to show pictures. Sophia's face lit up. "She looks just like Maria," Alex said softly. "She's beautiful," Sophia replied. "You've done an amazing job, Alex. Being a single dad. I can't imagine how hard it's been." For the first time in years, Alex felt seen, not just as a hero or a struggling worker, but as the person he was. The conversation flowed easily, old memories mixing with new gratitude. Before he left, Sophia squeezed his hand again. "I'd like to meet Lily sometime. If that's okay. And, maybe I can help. I have connections through my work, job opportunities, support programs for single parents. You don't have to do everything alone anymore." Alex didn't know what to say. Pride warred with exhaustion and hope. "I don't want charity." "It's not charity," she said firmly. "It's payback. You jumped into fire for a stranger who turned out to be an old friend. The least I can do is make sure you and Lily have a little less fire to fight every day." He nodded slowly. "Okay. Maybe coffee sometime. With Lily. Deal." As Alex left the hospital, the weight on his shoulders felt lighter. The city looked different, brighter, despite the lingering smell of smoke on his clothes. He picked up Lily from school and told her a simplified version of the story. Daddy helped an old friend from school. That evening, as Lily colored at the kitchen table, Alex stared out the window. Life had thrown him a curveball wrapped in flames and memories. The unknown woman was no longer unknown. She was Sophia, a piece of his past who had just stepped into his present. And for the first time in a long while, the future didn't feel quite so heavy. Over the next weeks, Sophia recovered. She kept her word. Through her network, she connected Alex with a better-paying job at a community center, maintenance and outreach work that let him be home more for Lily. They started meeting for coffee, then park outings with Lily. The little girl took to Sophia immediately, calling her the lady Daddy saved from the dragon fire. One quiet evening, months later, as Alex and Sophia sat on a bench watching Lily play, she turned to him. "I never forgot you, you know," she said softly. "Even after I moved. You were always kind when others weren't." Alex smiled. "Funny how life works. I jumped into that fire thinking I was saving a stranger. Turns out I was saving someone who already meant something to me once. Sophia leaned her head on his shoulder. And maybe, someone who could mean something again. The flames that had nearly taken her life had instead reignited an old connection. In saving Sophia, Alex had saved a part of himself too, the part that still believed in second chances, in kindness returning when you least expect it. And in the heart of a single dad who had risked everything, a new kind of warmth began to grow, one that no fire could ever extinguish.